Progress Racing. Show us your tips, Daggy and Beaver, with you to look at two very tricky cards on paper, Beaver. How do you enjoy doing this?
Yeah. It was wasn't easy, was it? You sort
No.
of you had to get really deep into the form to try and ascertain what you thought were the winning chances, and sort of when you got down in the markets a bit, it was really again, I think, like I said last week, hard to find if there is going to be a smoky, which one it's going to be. They're pretty. Some of them are a bit inconsistent there, but good fields, open fields, plenty of value there. So let's hope we can find some.
Yeah, at least in a lot of these, it's a chance to play 2 and 3 picks and
I think that's right.
try and look for something at value.
Yeah, go for your main pick, and then you can sort of save, sort of a 70% and then a 15-15 on your two savers, and probably allows you to break square if one of those get up. That's sort of the way I'd be looking at it.
Yep, absolutely. Let's kick off at Flemington, where it's Super Saturday. We've got good weather, good track. Rail moves out 4 metres. Rail movements don't tend to mean a great deal down there, so get stuck into it on Newmarket Handicap Day. We kick off with a 2,000 metre benchmark 80, which one of the smaller fields, but almost feels a little bit trappy as well. How are you going to start the day?
Yeah, tricky day here. Start of the day here. There's 4 main chances in the market, and I was kind of finding it hard to sort of assess the market. Like the favourite's quite short, and then you've got sort of 4
I
chances.
couldn't believe how short it was. It didn't make sense.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me either, and I don't think it'll start that short. But maybe I'm wrong. I couldn't go for it at $2, given that it was beaten by the top weight last start.
Yep.
I know it's like
We started favourite over it as well.
Who started favourite?
Did have Braylon's favour, but started favourite and beat at home. So.
And beat at home comfortably. A bit of shift in the weight pool this time round, but I actually went for one outside of that form. Went for Sparkle.
Mm-hmm.
I thought last start 3 lengths behind Munumek, who was busting to win and put them away quite easily there. I thought it was a good enough run and showed some good improvement from its start before. Might get a little bit of control here if it goes forward, and at the price could be hard to beat.
Yeah, I found the same horse. I went away from that Mooney. I just didn't want to jump into that Mooney Valley race, so I was left with 2. One, Sparkle, gets a quick backup, and as you said, chased home a couple of reasons. If it gets clear as well, it probably goes close in that race as well. Just held up slightly on the inside, hoping it can push forward a little bit as well. There's not a lot of pace here, so has sat close enough, but Blake Shin might even take this race up. If it does, going to be hardest to beat. From Independent Road, who with even luck probably wins that race at Flemington a month ago, and again brings different forms. So I was looking at those two. They're both around $5 or $6. If we get a full field, I'll cover them both each way. The second is 1,100 metre handicap for the 3-year-olds. We've got a couple of spruik horses here, or at least one of them, who looks quite short to me. But how do you line these up?
Yeah, it is quite short, but I still think it'll be winning. It was pretty good at its only assignment, beating Lascars, who's got a little bit of ability, and resumes here. The second favourite has won both its runs and has been quite impressive, led them up there. So I think it's certainly the main danger, but I've got What You Need on top. I think it's hard to beat and probably start about evens.
I thought the 2 Price Kent runners would be close in the market, actually. KGB, I think, is the main danger. I do have What You Need on top, but I thought they'll start closer in the market. If we are getting $5 or $6, I'll probably back the longer runner. But not a nice little race to start the day. Interesting one. Sweeten's also going to Pakenham tonight, where it's even money and it'll win. So,
beautiful. Thanks for
check
that.
out the full preview, or at least a few other tips there on progressracing.com.au. I've gone through and looked at that. The fourth is the Kewney, a Group 2 over the mile for the fillies. Wolverine and Pavitra stay in Sydney. But I've gone looking for Sydney form here. Revolutionary Miss, we've both mentioned in the lead-up. I'm saying that obviously in secret form stronger than this stuff. We've seen midweek horses come down and win these races in the last month. This is coming out of a proper Group 1 where it actually didn't have the clearest run either, but hit the line quite well. 1,400 out to the mile does suit. Mark Zara getting one of the best jockeys on. Cruisy Gate around the $4 mark looks pretty good to me. I've got it on top. Obviously scared of Shuffle Dancer. who is flying, but going Sydney form, one few exotics. I think Nunthorpe was forced to sit outside lead in that lead-up race here. I think it's going to be better with a softer run, but Sydney form to the form for me.
Yeah, I'm going the same way. I'm going for the Sydney form. I think Revolutionary Miss, third up here, presents very nicely. Interesting now, gone to Melbourne. Both runs have been length to a length and a half off some pretty good horses. Gets the right draw here. Gate 1 should get a nice cosy run. Has performed well in Melbourne before. And this sets up nicely. Should be peak fitness, good jockey, hardest to beat.
Love it. The fourth is the 1400 metre size produce stakes, a Group 2 for the 2-year-olds. In fact, good little field. Beaver, who do you like?
Yeah, good little field, isn't it? An interesting field. A couple of these horses have had nice last start wins, and then a couple sort of won first up, but sort of didn't back it up after that. I got narrowed it down to 2. I did think the favourite in Vate was such a good win at its only race start. I really liked the way it won. I kind of liked it there, and it franked it what I thought might be the case, that it's got a bit of ability. So I'm expecting it to run well here. It's drawn well in the 4. Main danger at value, Tom Kitten from the Cummings stable. Think it can run a big race. Really found the line nicely at in Sydney at Warwick Farm last start to break its maiden status. I think it might have improved in those 2 runs, and I think it can run well at Flemington. So I've got it as a knockout chance at 20s.
Beautiful. I've gone looking for blue colours, and I've come up with a top weight here. Did not handle the straight. I've thought this horse was a size horse from its first trial, and it's got around the valley well, back to 1100 where it just didn't handle the straight. When it finally sort of got in the right leg last 100, it was through the line okay. And I think both these Godolphin horses, you get 18, 19, 20 to 1. If you're getting much shorter, then it's probably especially time to take notice. Happy to spec both of them. You've covered off that one quite well. Gunbari comes down from being dragged back into 2-year-old races, back to well last from wide gates. If it sits closer here, it has hit the line pretty well both times. So looking towards them as the main 3, I'm terrified of V8, who 1400 metres probably suits. Dad loved Flemington. Grunt got around Flemington quite well. But going to, again, play the odds as I'm going to do through most of the afternoon here and see if we can get a result at a price. The mile, we stick to the mile for a Group 3 mares grade race with the Matron Stakes up next, and I am going to assume it's staying here because it hasn't come out. I'm sticking with Exalita. I just decided to go right against the whole Barbara race because it was a bit if to and fro and was won by Espiona. So Exalita missed the start last time, flashed home. If it jumps on terms, it goes close to at least making Anavisto work very hard to win. Zara's on outside gate. Last time at the Flemington Mile, it was a length off Ice Bath, who would probably, I know it's Ice Bath, would probably lap this field. So I'm going to stick with it around the $5 mark. And as I said, just go right away from that lead up. If I had to name a danger, possibly going away from it, Forbidden City, came through that race. But, just stick to X-Later. Move on. I'll let you talk.
Yeah, look, I'm going for number 2, Inspirational Girl here, resuming.
Okay.
I think this sets up really nicely for it. This is a bit of a step back on what it raced last preparation and what it was first up against. Then, behind the horses like Mr. Brightside. Last run was in the Caulfield Cup. Resuming here over 1600. Does have some good first up form. Has won before at this track and distance. And this is probably its best distance range. So I think it can run really well fresh, and if it's tuned up enough, which I suspect it is over a mile, trainers like Leake don't sort of give these horses a run. They're in most races to win, given their stables, so I think it can run well and really like it, around $6.50, $7.
Cool. Yeah, I want to see, now they're with John Leake, I want to see him actually win a race because we find these colours a lot in Melbourne.
Yeah.
They all trial really well. They obviously get up to a point there, but I want to see him win one because even in the staying race we're about to get to, I wanted to find the 2 there. So, but don't disagree with anything you said. Otherwise, I would agree with all your thoughts there. The 6 is the Australian Cup Prelude, 2,000 metres where I went all the way around the world here to get this favourite beat, and I came back and decided his favourite to win again. Talking about Right You Are, I tried to look at most things, but I actually think it's going to get a better run here than it had last time, where it had everything in its favour. I think Maricino probably crosses it and just gives it a nice tag, and its best win was the race before it got the nice tag and got to actually sprint past it and win. So I think Right You Are, clearly the horse to beat. I wanted to find Emissary, but just doesn't go first up. Could well win this race. And similarly, I wanted to find Regal Power, but I'll be leaving J League Junior alone until he starts winning some races with these horses. What do you think?
Yeah, tricky affair. I've gone for Emissary. I thought the first up run was okay. I think it's getting out to sort of the more suitable 2000. I think that'll suit it. It wasn't the worst run first up. It carried the 59 back to sort of the set weights here.
And was heavily backed.
So I think they're expecting this horse to go well this preparation. It'd need to show something, probably beat these here. I'm just concerned that Right You Are now getting up in the weights. It might be, and it's been up for a while. It could be coming to the end of its prep. And, now carrying the 57 against even probably as good as, if not better quality horses. This is its biggest test, so I wouldn't say it can't win. And then obviously Vow and Declare, it was good again last start.
Mm-hmm.
And after winning when it went out last preparation, so no reason it can't run another nice race. It's always consistent, but Emissary on top for me.
Beautiful. As I set out to find Emissary, I just had a few reservations. The feature on the card is the Group 1 Newmarket Handicap up the straight, 1,200 metres, great field, with In Secret popping up too. We talked about that form earlier. What did you make of this race, though?
Yeah, quality race, isn't it?
Yeah,
cracking race. I think a really even field. There's not many horses that really can't win this race. The only ones I'd probably rule out are the bottom two in the market. But look, I had to find something that I like to win. I've landed on the top weight, Private Eye.
You got me. Go, tell us why.
You didn't think I'd come up with that, did you?
No, I don't know. I found it as well.
Yeah.
I thought I was clever. So.
Yeah, no. Look, I think last preparation, it was the best prep it's ever had.
Yep.
It was flying. Look, it goes well first up. It's had one start, one win at this track and distance. It's in career best form. I think the trials were good. It was, not pushed and I think it's going to be the horse flying home at the end. I think it's just fresh. It went well when they freshened it and ran it really fresh last preparation. And I think this horse has, probably the biggest finish in this race. Gate 2 was my only little bit of a concern, but we know that it'll probably try to sit in behind him and duck and weave at the end, and hopefully they're spread across the track. So I've got it on top. And I thought obviously Lofty Strike is going outstanding at the moment, and I think it can run a huge race as well. That was sort of my main danger. I wish I win, obviously can run well, but I'm just a bit worried it's second up syndrome, and we'll see how we go.
I set out to find I Wish I Win. I thought, obviously it was the eye catcher in the lead up. The more I thought about it, Moody was on record as saying they came there basically as an extra trial. So he sprinted fresh at 1,000, no trial since, which I would have probably ticked if they had of. Second up, does he lose that sprint?
That's my thing.
To springboard to 30, 100%. So obviously Peter Moody's got a fair record with getting horses up to win up the straight. But I've got it in my numbers, but I thought the same thing, Private Eye. And the last trial, I liked the improvement between the two trials. First time down the straight, last prep, it brained most of this field. A lot of them turn up again, and it smashed them.
Yep.
Only time it was below expectations, or it went to the Cantalo, pulled up lame anyway, and it's only a couple of lengths off them. So I think the $7.50 is a great bet, and will be clearly my best result in the race. And I'll probably even throw in Marzu to a quaddie. So
100%.
Coming here fresh as well. So I was looking to the top of the weights for my numbers. We've both gone around In Secret. Just now it's got to go to open.
Well, I was disappointed last start. I thought it had every chance to win that race and didn't. You can say it ducked back to the inside, and that wasn't the place. But
Still got enough clear air, I thought.
I thought it had enough clear air too.
That being said, I'm going to tip a horse out of that race when we get to Rosehill, but we'll get there down the road. Very interesting. We both found the same horse as we move on to the 1400 metre Group 3 Shaftesbury Avenue, and I struggled a little bit with this race. So tell us why you're going to tip Ayrton.
Yeah, I went looking in this race, and I did come back to Ayrton.
Yeah, thought you might.
Yeah, I think similarly, like if you just go through the form here, first up, it's won 4 out of 5 in placing. It goes well at this distance. It's drawn well here. Can get the clear air where it needs it. 1400 is a good starting point for it. And if you go back to last prep, except for probably the last run, which 1800, I just don't think it's its go. Prior to that, it was in pretty good form and was only a length behind I Wish I Win at Sandown back in September. I just think this sets up nicely for it. I went looking for things that have similar class to it, and I just didn't find anything. Scolopini was good last start, but it's got to come from gate 14.
Yeah.
And that was my concern with Scolopini. There will be a few that probably do kick up underneath.
Savannah Claude picks up underneath it. I think, even Visionari maybe.
And even maybe Visionari. So I'm just a bit concerned that Scolopini got a really easy lead last start and fought on well, but, at the end it was coming to the end of, it didn't want it much further. So, look, that's why I went away from it. Visionari first up, is it as good as class as that? And then some of these, they're running well, but they're against what and sort of fell away. I think probably the main danger that I'll probably save on is Worsfold. Flying this preparation, probably in a little bit weaker company, but finished second last start, but should have probably won that race.
Flemington suits.
Flemington does suit. Was too far back last start and flew home. So I think it can run well. Drawn 12 should be coming home, but Ayrton will be too good.
I sort of ended up the same way. I'm not comfortable with it, but it is on top. You've covered off well enough. Only defeat first up was at the hands of I Wish I Win. Visionari trialled great again. It's going life's first up, 1400 metres, so maybe wants it wet, but runs well here. And a little bit like you, Worsfold was in the mix, and I just almost came back to if in doubt, looking for the leaders, which would be Savannah Cloud and Espiona. But for the sake of what we're doing here, Ayrton on top, with a bit of a uncomfortable feeling. 6 months ago, Ayrton would start at $1.50 in this race. Probably realistic.
Yes.
So, anyway.
And maybe,
probably let us down. Anyway, we wrap up with a 1400 metre quality handicap for the 3-year-olds. What do you like in the last?
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? Again, I kind of went looking down in the market to have at things, and then I came back to Is It Me? Both its wins have been ultra impressive before it was put out, and this horse looks to have plenty of potential. And I kind of went looking and thought, where's the class in this race? Where's the potential in this race? And that's where I came back to. So I've continued with it and put it on top. I thought the main dangers were pouring. I thought it was a horse that was around the double figure odds. Was pretty good. I liked its last start. Its first up maiden was good enough, and then came out and won easily at Sandown in a reasonable field. So I thought that was a really good run. I think Natural Improvement will see it, so I'd be saving on it. So that's sort of the way I'd play this.
I'm sure it's a horse ability. I know it is. I went looking for, like you, went looking for some things at value. Came up with the top weight, Zoe's Promise. The 2 trials have been lovely. Coming back here, a couple of nice city wins last time in. And Lethal Thought, same. Last trial was great. Craig Williams tends to like having a late snipe in these races. Scared of the favourite, as you said. It could be best horse, might get best gate 1, Flemington, Jamie Carr. Don't know. But so going to play the 2 each way and be scared of the favourite and take that set. These late in the day Flemington Phillies races, you get one pop up that you don't consider. And
Zoe's Promise's form is only on soft tracks, wet tracks.
True.
Where it won both last. It's had 5 starts on good and hasn't run a drum, so going to have to break the hoodoo there.
They were wet tracks. Right, let's talk about the quaddie at Flemington, Beaver. You may have at it.
Yep. Let me have a crack, eh? So, what is Beaver going to do? Here we go. In the first leg, race 6, I'm going Number 3, Vow and Declare. Number 5, Emissary. Number 6, Surefire. And number 7, Right You Are.
Mm-hmm.
In the second leg, I am going number 1, Private Eye. Number 2, Marzu. Number 3, I Wish I Win. Number 6, Bella Nipotina. And the other one I wanted to throw in was number 9, Lofty Strike.
Cool. Leaving the filly out. Or the 3-3-olds out.
Yeah. Line through it, mate.
Yep.
Line through it. In the third leg, I am going number 4, Ayrton. Number 8, Visionary. Number 14, Life Lessons. And number 15, Worsfold. And to finish the day, I'm going number 2, Meredith. Number 3, Climbing Star. Number 11, Is It Me? And number 12, Zapporing.
Beautiful. What's your best in value?
Yeah, my value is race 7, number 1, Private Eye.
Yep.
And my best is race 8, number 4, Ayrton.
Wow. My value, race 7, number 1, Private Eye. And my best, race 6, number 1, Right You Are. He's not number 1. He'll be down to 8. So race 6, number 7, Right You Are. We've got to head up to Sydney where we're going to Rosehill Gardens. Nice and warm in Sydney. We've got a good track, rail true. Probably no disadvantage beyond pace, but should play fairly well with the rail going back to the true. We're going to kick off with a midway 1,200 metre benchmark 72. Have you got any confidence here?
I'm legging it out of here for the first, mate.
No worries. This is a low race. The 3 I've looked at, the 3 I've looked at that I may have something on.
Are you talking for the sake of it here?
I am, yeah. Shot maker's on top for me. Might be best horse now. Second up, Doyle. Trials were good, and is $12. Astero back in grade. Doesn't go at Rosehill, so I got to pen that. And look, I end up looking at Miss Einstein as the best horse in this race, but coming off a year off and 2 years since its last win, doesn't feel confidence, does it? But that's the sort of race it is.
Hail Mary race.
The second is the Pago Pago for the 2-year-olds over last stop before the slipper, Group 3. For the boys, who do you like here?
Yeah, I'm going Shinzo on top here. Both runs this time in have been good, improved again at its second start, hit the line really nicely against what I think is a pretty good horse in Corniche, who had the complete run of the race there. And third prior to that behind Red Resistance, who is a good horse. So I think this sets up nicely for it to break through McDonald-Waller combination here. And my on top pick?
I've stuck with Mahaba. I like that win. I liked the format of its first up run in Sydney 2, where it was a bit all over the shop and still ran well behind Barber. Comes back, right jockey, Mickey D from gate 1. So, yeah, I'm sticking with the fave. Couple I'm going to spec at a price. I really like the trials of Gustosissimo, who starts here for the Gerald Ryan team. Some nice trials and nice work leading to this. And I could even entertain at a big price Cap Ferret out to 1,200 from the 11. Just wasn't given any chance there. And $1.4 million yearling, I think it's the one I'm looking at. They might want to have a bit of a better crack here, but better for the run. But I was looking, Mahaba comes here and was very impressive last time out. The third is a benchmark 88 over 1350. We're on a tricky card. I'm going to stamp on. I love the way Tamerlane's come back after leaving in good form. Went out with a couple of nice wins there. Comes back here. Zach Lloyd's absolutely flying at the moment. And I think rolls forward-ish here. And he's going to be very hard to beat. I think the only danger as a marker is just his fine point. But on a card where I really struggled to find I could just stamp, I'm going to stick my colours to the blue, as I tend to do. Stick the blue colours to... Anyway, something like that. Who do you think's going to win?
No, I'm flipping. I like fine point.
Yeah.
I think this horse has got plenty of ability. I go back last prep. It only had the 3 starts. It was very good first up. So it won first up last time in, and then Second up, I finished third behind Hope in Your Heart. And I was at the track that day and I backed it. And it probably should have won. It was stuck on the fence and couldn't get a crack at him. I was pretty disappointed. And I think it was almost started favourite in that race. And it was a Group 3 race, if my memory serves me correct. And then they took it to Melbourne in a Group 3 race and finished down the track, but wasn't a long way off him. And that was a pretty tricky race. And that was a soft track. Best form is on a good track. It's had 4 starts for 3 wins and a placing. Jockey 3 from 3 in this class, 1 from 1. I think it's going to run big race.
Beautiful. The girls' 2-year-old contest is the Magic Night Stakes for over Group 3 level, 1,200 metres. What about this one?
Yeah, pretty hard here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really tricky race here. I've settled on Blanc de Blanc.
Yep.
Blanc de Blanc.
Blanc de Blanc.
Again, McDonald. So hopefully he's going up for a big day. I thought last start's run was really, really good. Finished third behind Lazago, but they all went across the line together there. Hit the line really well. Again, obviously trying to get this, if it's not already, into the slipper. So I think it's going to run a big race. Gate 12 was a bit of a worry, but a couple of scratchings there might see it come in. So I think it can run really well. And then it was really hard to line up some of the others. We've got the Tis Invincible, I think.
Tried really well.
Trialled really well, and I've got a watch on it, given it its first start, and expect it to run well. So they're the sort of 2 I'm looking at.
I'm scared of Steel City. It almost should have won the Diamond. It was trucking along there and just got completely shut out. But I've decided from gate 1 I'm just going to forget about it and not worry about it, given it hasn't won yet. Take my chances. I can see myself making Remedies the best result in this race. I thought that was good first up. I know you just forget what happened with Cafe Millennium last week on the sort of leaders track there. But I thought that was a pretty nice, well, it beat all but it. So at around $8 mark on top. You mentioned Tis Invisible, really like the trials there. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tukui Santuza improves. I know it's only a Canterbury win, but it was pretty impressive. And, well, natural upside with the Waterhouse team and 2-year-olds. Wouldn't be surprised if it runs well again, but I've sort of and you mentioned Blanc de Blanc. Obviously can't tip more, but at the price, I think Remedies and the Waterhouse horse would be my best results on this one. The 5th is a 1,100 metre Group 3 Maurice McCarten Stakes. Cracking little sprint, Beaver. I don't know beyond saying I've sort of found the horses in the same order as the market, so I can't tip outside it. Have you got any better clarity?
I was the same. The top 3 in the market, I found them in that order. I just think the top 2 are probably slightly better than Colino. Most of its form's been in probably a little bit weaker company than this, but Clemenceau is a horse that I've got a good opinion of. And it was outstanding last preparation. Its last couple of runs, it beats some decent horses. So beat Malkovich just sitting off the pace and outpacing him there. And prior to that, beat Zuthos in Moonee Valley. And then had also ran a close second behind Remark at first up runs. So that type of form, 53, nicely weighted. Gate 9, I think is good. It can either take up the speed or sit right there. Coal Crusher is probably going to lead. So it'll either sit on its outside or tuck in behind. So I've got it on top to beat Etheric.
Beauty. Yeah, I don't have much to add. 1,500 metre Group 2 Phar Lap Stakes comes up next for the 3-year-olds, where I'm not going to overthink this one. Zugotcha, nice enough resumption, straight to 1,500 suits, was in the finish here. J Mac on, right run from gate 4. And this is probably a weaker field than what it meant in that mare's race. So
Probably,
clearly
definitely.
on top. Well, definitely. All I'm really going to mention, all the markets really mentioned. Again, I'm just going to say Cold Eye's going to Kemble this afternoon. It'll probably win that too.
Yeah, look, I think, don't want to dwell on this too much. Zugotcha, I don't even think it'll start $1.65. I think it'll be skinnier than that.
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to be 2s on. So potentially not even backable. But if you're looking for something to add a bit of value to the Nella, Awesome John, it's about 25 to 1, number 4. Whack it in your Cornella Exacta or even your trifectas.
Beautiful. If I was going to whack one in, it'd actually be Cut on a Dime with Nash on the quick backup from the boys last week, back in distance. But anyway, let's get to the 7th, which kicks off the quaddie, the Sky High Stakes Group 3. What do you think here?
Yeah, good little staying race. Interesting field, no compromise scratch to run here. I'm going for Sunshine Rising, at the $556 mark. Really liked the first up run. Thought that was a pretty good run. Running third behind Pounding, who's flying at the moment. I think that will derive a lot of benefit of that after a really nice trial before going down there. And then if you look back at its form last preparation, some really nice runs in quality races where it's got back in the field and really hit the line hard. So I think it over the 2,000, right distance, ready to go here, and potentially the horse on the rise here.
I went looking for the internationals. I've got Protagonist on top. He come out with Willie Haggis. I'm just going to take this. I'm just sick of Sydney staying form. So going for a different form. J-Mac hops on. I think it's going to be hard to beat. Meeting this. And I went looking for... Look, Magical Lagoon's the best horse in this race. It's a high-class horse. First up for Waller. Trials have only been fair, and we haven't seen him do a lot with Solcombe. But at the 20s, goes into my quaddie. From there, of the locals, No Compromise was the obvious eye catcher last time out. You do have to cop Jay Ford on top, but internationals for me, in a race I wasn't that enthused about. A little bit more enthused about this one though, which is the 1,500 metre Coolmore Classic for the fillies and mares at Group 1 level, and I'm going to go looking for the fillies in this race. I've thought Ruthless Dame's been fantastic in both runs in, sitting. Having to work extra hard in both of them. We've got Dylan Gibbons on here, but she last time out ran the best 4 and 2 of the day, and then was in that bunched finish. I think jumps in here if you like your weights. It's getting in on a minimum, and I think around the $7 or $8 mark, which it was, I think is a great bet. From She's a Belter, last time up in distance again. Last time it came here to Rosehill, it brained the field in the Hot Danish. Dry Suits, Willie Pike obviously knows the horse. And they're the two I'm keenest to play on. Obviously scared of Hope and Art, who's just honest and probably deserves to win one of these. And Anavisto, you're going to get with Nash in front. But went looking for the two fillies. Beaver, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Anavisto because it's just a horse I back and I do really like. And it is pretty foolproof. For me, it's got no choice but to jump and run here. So it's going to get across and take up the lead or pretty close to. Probably Expat's probably going to go hard, so it's probably going to get the sit just in behind Expat there. So it might just tag into the race there, which probably suits it just going up to the 1,500 here. It's a quality horse, and there was a lot to like about the first up win. So I've got it on top. Couple that I do think can run really well is Hope in Your Heart.
Yep.
It's a horse I like. And Ruthless Dame, what you've said there, it's down in the weights, and both runs this time in have been outstanding, less than a length off them in group races, hard to beat. And I tipped Espiona last start and won, and I wouldn't let it get under your guard here. So, look, they're the three other chances. I'll probably back Anavisto and save on Espiona.
Okay. The Ajax is the second last, 1,500 metre, again at Group 2 level. Have you got any clarity here?
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? Really trying to line this up. Waterford's first up run was probably a bit disappointing.
I thought so. I actually couldn't back it off that, to be honest, and I won't be.
Yeah, I couldn't really back it off that as well at this stage, and I'd be certainly keen to watch the market. If it doesn't get backed in the market, then you probably don't want to be on it. If there's money for it, then you probably suggest that they might have been playing a bit of Ducks and Drakes first up, and that wasn't such a surprise. Based on that, I'll watch the market there. I've tipped Ascension on top. I think it's going really well at the moment. One fairly comfortable last start and sort of still coming through that pounding form the start prior to that down in Moonee Valley. And then prior to that one really well, you know what you're going to get. It's going to jump from 5. It's going to go straight to the front. And these are going to be chasing, and some of these are only average at that.
They are only average. And look, might be a bit mad here, but I'm going to spec the first starter Phoenician. I like the improvement between its 2 trials for Boy D'Argent. Last time it started in Australia, it was stuck set wide the whole way under Damie Spencer. Now gets Mickey D. There's an upgrade for you. And around 20s, I think might give us a sight here. A complete spec in the field I don't like at all. Away from that, I was going to the lead up, which left me with Sabark on top. Just on Waterford, it's interesting. J-Mac has chosen to ride Diamel as well. Maybe that's the lead, maybe it's not. But 4 and 5 predominantly for me. As we go to finish the day with benchmark 78, 1900 metres, and it is... I'm going to give Almania one more go. If it gets clear, in fairness, I think it probably wins last time out. Dylan Gibbons jumps on board. It drops in grade, back to 78 grade, and there's not a lot else here. Obviously, Major Bill might be the up-and-comer that will take it up, but last chance for me, and away from that, yeah, Major Bill, and, probably throw Monte Felicity into the quaddie, just because I can. Anything for you?
Yeah, tricky race to finish the day. I think the top 4 in the market have got it. I just went the same as you. I went Almania. It's been consistent these 3 runs in. All been pretty good. Stepped up nicely, as you said. Probably could have finished close to last start. Goes up in weight here, but back in class. The 1.5 kilo helps. Gate 10's not bad. Can pull to the outside. Wineglass has got to deal with a wide barrier. It'll be chasing Major Bill. Major Bill looks the winner somewhere down the straight, but has to get the extra 400 metres here. And it's got Tim Clark aboard. So that's my concern. And up in class. So Almania for me. Top weight in the last.
Beauty. Let's see if we can come up with a quaddie at Rosehill. First leg, I'm going to go with 4 No Compromise, 6 Magical Lagoon, 12 Sunshine Rising, 15 King Frankel, actually 14 Frizeric, 15 King Frankel, 16 Protagonist. Second leg, 2 Anavisto, 3 Hope in Your Heart, 9 Ruthless Dame, 10 Cheeser Belter, 13 Yearning. Third leg, 1 Bandersnatch, 2 Diamil, 4 Sabac, 5 Boy D'Argent. And let's come home with 1 Almania, 7 Wineglass Bay, 9 Major Beal, and 15 Monte Felicity. I'm going to make my best on a tricky card at Rosehill, race 3, number 1, Tamerlane. And my value in the Group 1, the 2 fillies, numbers 9 and 10, Ruthless Dame and Cheeser Belter.
Well, just so we can go to head, I'm going to make my best. Race 3, number 4, Fine Point.
Yep.
Take you on. And that'll make it tricky for the viewers. And race 10, number 1, Almania is my value.
Beauty. I've got $100 to spend after another one of your multis fell apart, Beaver. I might ban you from them.
I'm not taking them anymore, mate. Sorry about that.
So we're going to go $20 on Tamerlane at $5, $20 on Private Eye at $7.50, $20 on Ruthless Dame at $7.50, $10 on Amur down south, and $30 on Right You Are to cover our stake for the day around the $3.50.
Good.
In Adelaide, race 4, number 1, just one bet there for me, Chicago Storm. What you got up north?
What have I got up north? Good day racing up north, isn't it?
It is.
I've got a few up there. I'm going race 2, number 2, the Red Kite. I think it'll be hard to beat. Then moving on to race 4, number 11, Miracle Spin. I think it's going to be hard to beat. Race 6, number 8, Manhood. The money has now just started to come for that. And race 8, number 11, Swiss Scandal.
Beautiful.
So a few of those around the $4 mark, $3.50, $4.
Looks good to me. Sounds good to me. Good job, Beaver. Good luck tomorrow. It's a tricky day.
Tricky day.
Play it smart. Play it safe. Good luck out there, punters. And we will be back to look forward to some midweek racing next Wednesday. And we've got the Slipper next weekend. So look forward to all of that. Check out progetracing.com.au for much more going on there. We've got tips up there most days of the week. Apart from that, take care, and we will talk soon. Catch you guys.